First contact and cultural shock. The sleek, silver spacecraft descended through Earth's atmosphere, its hull shimmering with an otherworldly iridescence. As it touched down in the sprawling grounds of the United Nations headquarters in New York, a hush fell over the gathered crowd of diplomats, journalists, and curious onlookers. This was humanity's first official contact with an alien civilization, and the air crackled with anticipation. Ambassador Elena Rodriguez straightened her suit and took a deep breath. At 45, she was considered young for her position, but her brilliance in xenolinguistics and interspecies diplomacy had made her the clear choice to lead Earth's delegation. As the spacecraft's hatch opened with a soft hiss, Elena stepped forward, ready to greet the visitors from the stars. The aliens that emerged were a sight to behold. Standing at about 4 feet tall, their bodies were covered in a fine, shimmering fur that seemed to change color with every movement. Large, multifaceted eyes dominated their faces, and their limbs moved with a fluid grace that seemed almost impossible. "Welcome to Earth," Elena said, her voice steady and warm. "I am Ambassador Elena Rodriguez, representing the United Nations of Earth. We are honored by your presence." The lead alien stepped forward, its fur rippling in shades of blue and green. "Greetings, Ambassador Rodriguez. I am Zixtal, emissary of the Galactic Confederation. We come in peace and with great curiosity about your world." As the two delegations made their way to the conference room, Elena couldn't help but notice the aliens' wide-eyed wonder at their surroundings. They seemed particularly fascinated by the blend of old and new architecture, their multifaceted eyes darting from centuries-old buildings to gleaming skyscrapers. Once seated, Zixtal began the formal introductions. "We have been observing your world for some time, Ambassador. Your species' rapid advancement has caught the attention of many in the Confederation. We are here to assess your readiness for galactic citizenship." Elena nodded, her mind racing with the implications. "We are honored by your consideration, Emissary Zixtal. Humanity has long dreamed of joining a larger galactic community. We have many questions, as I'm sure you do as well." "Indeed," Zixtal replied, its fur now pulsing with curious patterns of yellow and orange. "Our primary concern is the stability and longevity of your civilization. Our records show that your technological advancement has been remarkably swift. How long has your species been engaged in spaceflight?" Elena smiled, sensing an opportunity to showcase humanity's achievements. "We first ventured beyond our atmosphere just over a century ago, in 1961. Our first moon landing was in 1969. The alien delegation erupted in a chorus of chittering sounds that Elena's universal translator struggled to interpret. Finally, Zixtal spoke, its voice tinged with disbelief. "Forgive us, Ambassador, but there must be an error in the translation. Did you say a mere century?" "That's correct," Elena confirmed, her curiosity piqued by the alien's reaction. "Is that unusual?" Zixtal's fur rippled in what Elena was beginning to recognize as agitation. "Ambassador Rodriguez, most species in the Confederation take millennia to progress from atmospheric flight to lunar landings. The speed of your advancement is unprecedented." Elena felt a surge of pride, tempered by caution. "I see. Well, humanity has always been driven by curiosity and the desire to push boundaries. Perhaps you could tell us more about the typical developmental timeline for spacefaring civilizations." As Zixtal began to explain, Elena noticed the other members of the alien delegation huddling together, their appendages moving in what appeared to be urgent gestures. She made a mental note to ask about their nonverbal communication later. "Typically," Zixtal continued, "a species will spend several thousand years developing the necessary technologies for spaceflight. The transition from combustion engines to more advanced propulsion systems alone often takes a millennium or more. May I ask, how old is your oldest living human?" Elena blinked, surprised by the question. "Well, our oldest verified human lived to be 122 years old. Currently, we have several individuals who are over 110 years old." The alien delegation's reaction was immediate and intense. Their fur shifted through a rainbow of colors, and the chittering sounds reached a fever pitch. Zixtal held up a hand-like appendage, silencing its colleagues. "Ambassador," Zixtal said, its voice quivering slightly, "I fear there has been a grave misunderstanding. When we speak of the age of a species, we typically refer to the lifespan of individuals. The oldest member of my species, for example, is approaching its 5,000th year." The human delegation sat in stunned silence. Alina felt her mind reeling as she tried to process this information. 5,000 years. She finally managed to say, "That's incredible and deeply surprising. We had no idea that such longevity was possible." Zixtal's fur settled into a deep, contemplative blue. "It seems, Ambassador Rodriguez, that we have much to learn from each other. Your species' ability to achieve so much in such a short lifespan is nothing short of miraculous. It challenges everything we thought we knew about technological and cultural development." As the implications of this revelation sank in, Alina realized that this meeting was going to be far more complex than anyone had anticipated. The gulf between human and alien perspectives on time, progress, and life itself was vast, but it also presented an unprecedented opportunity for mutual growth and understanding. "Emissary Zixtal," Alina said, her voice filled with determination, "I believe this is the beginning of a fascinating dialogue. Humanity's youth as you see it, combined with our drive and adaptability, might just be what the galaxy needs. We may be young, but we have much to offer." Zixtal's fur shimmered with what Alina hoped was agreement. "Indeed, Ambassador, it seems that the galaxy may be in for quite a shake-up. Tell me, how does your species view the concept of rapid change?" As Alina began to explain humanity's complex relationship with progress and innovation, she couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement. The future that lay ahead was uncertain, filled with challenges and opportunities beyond imagination. But one thing was clear: humanity's entrance onto the galactic stage was going to be anything but ordinary. The first day of negotiations stretched long into the night, with both sides eager to learn more about each other. As the meeting finally adjourned, Alina watched the alien delegation return to their ship, their movements animated and their fur a kaleidoscope of colors. She turned to her human colleagues, a mix of exhaustion and exhilaration on their faces. "Well," she said with a smile, "it looks like we've got our work cut out for us. But if there's one thing humans are good at, it's adapting to the unexpected. Let's show the galaxy what we're made of." As the team dispersed, Alina lingered for a moment, gazing up at the star-filled sky. Somewhere out there, an entire galactic civilization was about to learn just how quickly humanity could shake things up. And she, for one, couldn't wait to see what would happen next. The Galactic Challenge. 6 months had passed since the momentous first contact between humanity and the Galactic Confederation. The initial shock of learning about the vast differences in lifespans and technological development had given way to a flurry of cultural and scientific exchanges. Earth had become a hub of interstellar activity, with alien diplomats and researchers flocking to the planet to study the enigma that was humanity. Ambassador Alina Rodriguez stood at the window of her office in the newly constructed Galactic Relations Center, watching as a Confederation shuttle gracefully landed on the pad below. The past months had been a whirlwind of negotiations, explanations, and sometimes heated debates about humanity's place in the galactic community. A gentle chime announced the arrival of her assistant, a young prodigy named Aiden Chen. "Ambassador, the emergency meeting of the Confederation Council is about to begin. They're requesting your presence in the holographic chamber." Alina nodded, straightening her jacket. "Thank you, Aiden. Any idea what this is about?" Aiden shook his head, his expression grave. "No details yet, but the encrypted message stressed it was of utmost importance. They've assembled representatives from every major species in the Confederation." As they hurried to the holographic chamber, Alina's mind raced through possibilities. In the short time humanity had been part of the galactic community, they had already made waves. Human adaptability and innovative thinking had led to breakthroughs in various fields, from propulsion technology to xenobiology. But they had also ruffled some feathers, challenging age-old protocols and pushing for faster progress than many of the long-lived species were comfortable with. The holographic chamber hummed to life as Elena took her place on the raised platform. Suddenly, she was surrounded by the shimmering forms of alien representatives from across the galaxy. At the center stood Zixtal, its fur a somber shade of deep purple. Esteemed members of the Confederation, Zixtal began, its voice echoing through the chamber. I bring grave news. Our long-range sensors have detected an anomaly at the edge of our galaxy. We believe it to be a threat unlike any we have faced before. A collective murmur rippled through the assembly. Elena leaned forward, her heart pounding. What kind of threat? Emissary Zixtal. The alien's form shimmered as it manipulated unseen controls. A holographic representation of the Milky Way appeared in the center of the chamber, with a pulsing red dot at its edge. We have detected a massive object moving towards our galaxy at an impossible speed, Zixtal explained. Our initial analysis suggests it's artificial in nature, possibly a form of propulsion technology far beyond our understanding. The Arcturian representative, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline structure, spoke up. Have we attempted communication? Zixtal's fur rippled in what Elena had come to recognize as a negative gesture. All attempts at communication have failed. More alarmingly, we've observed several star systems in its path simply disappear. A chill ran down Elena's spine. Disappear? You mean it's destroying entire star systems? We're not certain, Zixtal replied. They could be being consumed, transported, or something beyond our comprehension. What we do know is that if this object continues on its current trajectory, it will reach the core worlds of the Confederation within 5 standard years. The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien voices, each species reacting to the news in their own way. Elena stood silent, her mind racing. 5 years. To most of the species present, with their multi-millennial lifespans, this was an eye blink. But to humans, 5 years is a long time, Elena said, her voice cutting through the noise. The chamber fell silent, all attention turning to her. In human terms, that's enough time to develop new technologies, build fleets, and prepare defenses. We've gone from horse-drawn carriages to space flight in less time than that. The Zorblaxian representative, a gelatinous being that communicated through color changes, pulsed a skeptical blue. With all due respect, Ambassador Rodriguez, this threat is beyond anything your young species has encountered. Our most advanced weapons and shields would be useless against something capable of erasing entire star systems. Elena felt a familiar fire ignite within her. It was the same determination that had driven humans to split the atom, to walk on the moon, to cure diseases that had plagued them for millennia. Perhaps, she said, her voice steady and strong. But humans have a saying, necessity is the mother of invention. When faced with existential threats, we don't give up. We innovate. We adapt. We overcome. She turned to address the entire assembly. You've all expressed amazement at how quickly humanity has advanced. You've studied our history, seen how we've faced and overcome challenges that should have destroyed us. Now we face a threat not just to humanity, but to all sentient life in our galaxy. Give us the chance to help. Let us pool our knowledge, our resources, and our unique perspectives. Together, we might just find a solution that none of us could have conceived of alone. A thoughtful silence fell over the chamber. Zixtal's fur shimmered with a mix of colors that Elena interpreted as both concern and hope. What do you propose, Ambassador? Elena took a deep breath. This was the moment that could change the course of galactic history. I propose a joint task force. Bring together the brightest minds from every species. Give us access to all the data you have on this threat. Let us combine the Confederation's vast knowledge and resources with humanity's rapid innovation and problem-solving skills. We have 5 years. Let's make them count. The chamber buzzed with discussion. Alina watched as representatives conferred with unseen advisors, their holographic forms flickering with activity. Finally, Zixtal stepped forward. The Confederation Council has reached a decision, it announced. We accept your proposal, Ambassador Rodriguez. A joint task force will be formed immediately, with representatives from all member species. Humanity will play a central role in this endeavor. Alina felt a mix of relief and trepidation wash over her. They had a chance, but the real work was just beginning. Thank you for your trust, she said. We won't let you down. As the meeting adjourned and the holographic forms faded away, Alina found herself alone in the chamber with Zixtal's projection. The alien's fur had settled into a calm blue. I must admit, Alina, Zixtal said, using her first name for the first time, your species continues to surprise us. The speed with which you process information and adapt to new situations is remarkable. Perhaps it is precisely what we need in these dire times. Alina smiled, feeling the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. We're about to find out, Zixtal. Humanity has always dreamed of its place among the stars. Now, we have the chance to earn it. As she left the chamber, her mind was already racing with plans. Calls to make, teams to assemble, resources to allocate. The greatest challenge in human history lay ahead, but Alina felt a surge of optimism. If there was one thing humans excelled at, it was beating the odds. The next 5 years would determine the fate of not just humanity, but all sentient life in the galaxy, and humanity was ready to show the universe what they were truly capable of. Journey to the unknown. The massive interstellar vessel Unity hung in Earth's orbit, a testament to what could be achieved when the galaxy's greatest minds worked together. Its sleek hull gleamed in the sunlight, a blend of technologies from a dozen different species. At its heart lay a propulsion system that would have been considered impossible just 3 years ago. A fusion of Zorblaxian quantum tunneling and human-designed antimatter reactors. Ambassador Alina Rodriguez stood on the bridge, her heart racing with a mix of excitement and trepidation. The past 3 years had been a whirlwind of feverish activity. The joint task force she had proposed had worked miracles, pushing the boundaries of science and technology further than anyone had thought possible. Final systems check complete, Ambassador, reported Captain Yuki Tanaka, her voice steady despite the gravity of their mission. We're ready for departure. Alina nodded, her gaze fixed on the view screen showing the blue marble of Earth. Thank you, Captain. Let's hope we're ready for whatever we find out there. The bridge was a microcosm of galactic cooperation. Humans worked alongside aliens from across the Confederation, each bringing their unique skills and perspectives to the mission. Dr. Zara Vex, a Syrian xenobiologist with 6 arms and iridescent scales, monitored the life support systems. Grok, a Palaxian engineer whose rocky exterior belied a brilliant mind, kept a watchful eye on the experimental propulsion system. As the Unity prepared to depart, Alina couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought them here. The task force had faced countless challenges, from communication barriers to conflicting scientific theories. But it was often the humans' unconventional approaches that broke through deadlocks and sparked breakthroughs. She remembered the day Dr. Aiden Chen, her former assistant, and now the lead physicist on the project, had proposed using chaos theory to predict the anomaly's movements. The older species had been skeptical, but Aiden's models had proven surprisingly accurate, giving them a fighting chance to intercept the threat before it reached populated systems. Ambassador, Zixtal's voice broke through her reverie. The alien stood beside her, its fur a swirl of excited yellows and greens. I must convey the Confederation Council's final message before we depart. They wish to express their gratitude and admiration for humanity's contributions. Your species has accomplished in 3 years what many thought impossible in a century. Alina smiled, touched by the gesture. Thank you, Zixtal. But this mission is a testament to what we can achieve together. Every species on this ship has played a crucial role. Zixtal's fur rippled in agreement. Indeed, yet it was humanity's drive and adaptability that pushed us all to exceed our limits. You've taught us the value of thinking beyond established paradigms. A gentle vibration coursed through the ship as the engines powered up. Captain Tanaka's voice rang out. All stations, prepare for departure. We are go for trans-light speed in T-minus 60 seconds. The bridge fell into a focused silence as final preparations were made. Elena felt a lump in her throat as she watched Earth grow smaller on the view screen. They were embarking on a journey into the unknown, facing a threat that could annihilate entire star systems. The fate of the galaxy rested on their shoulders. Trans-light speed in 3, 2, 1. Engage. The stars on the view screen stretched into lines of light, and with a flash, the Unity leaped into the void, leaving the solar system behind. As they settled into their journey, life aboard the Unity fell into a rhythm. Days were filled with continuous research, simulations, and preparations for their eventual encounter with the anomaly. The diverse crew faced challenges that tested not just their scientific and technical skills, but their ability to work together across vast cultural divides. One particularly tense moment came 2 months into their journey. The Unity sensors detected an unusual energy signature that didn't match any known phenomenon. As the science team scrambled to analyze the data, a heated debate erupted on the bridge. It's clearly a type of quantum fluctuation, insisted Dr. Lurax, a Velderan physicist whose species measured time in millennia. We should adjust our course to avoid it. Aiden Chen shook his head vehemently. No, you're not seeing the pattern. This could be related to the anomaly we're chasing. We need to investigate closer. The argument escalated, with other crew members taking sides. Elena watched as the divide seemed to fall along predictable lines. The older, more cautious species advocating for a conservative approach, while the humans and younger species pushed for bold action. Just as it seemed the disagreement might threaten the mission's cohesion, Grok, the Palaxian engineer who had been quietly observing, spoke up. His gravelly voice cut through the noise. Why not both? All eyes turned to the rocky figure. Grok's crystalline eyes glittered as he explained. Send probe. Safe distance. Humans program adaptive algorithms. Velderan theory guide initial parameters. All contribute. All learn. A moment of silence fell over the bridge, followed by a ripple of agreement. Elena felt a surge of pride in her chest. This was why they were out here, not just to face an external threat, but to learn from each other and grow beyond their limitations. The probe experiment proved to be a turning point for the crew. The data it gathered not only provided crucial insights into the nature of the anomaly they were pursuing, but also fostered a new level of cooperation and respect among the diverse team. As the months wore on, the Unity pushed deeper into uncharted space. The crew's initial excitement gave way to a determined focus, punctuated by moments of discovery and shared celebration. They mapped new star systems, encountered cosmic phenomena that defied their understanding of physics, and continuously refined their theories about the nature of the threat they were facing. Elena found herself constantly amazed by the resilience and adaptability of her human colleagues. Where some of the long-lived species struggled with the prolonged isolation and stress of the mission, humans seemed to thrive on the challenge. They organized movie nights featuring films from various cultures, started an interspecies sports league in the ship's gymnasium, and even began teaching alien crew members Earth languages and customs. One evening, as Elena was enjoying a quiet moment in the ship's observation lounge, she overheard a conversation between Zixtal and Dr. Vex. I must admit, Zixtal was saying, its fur a contemplative blue. I'm beginning to understand why the humans have accomplished so much in their brief existence. They have an extraordinary ability to find joy and purpose even in the face of overwhelming odds. Dr. Vex's scales shimmered in agreement. Indeed, their shorter lifespans seem to drive them to make every moment count. It's inspiring. Elena smiled to herself, feeling a renewed sense of purpose. The Unity's mission was not just about saving the galaxy from an unknown threat. It was about breaking down the barriers between species, challenging preconceptions, and forging a new path forward together. As she gazed out at the star-streaked vista of trans-light space, Elena's thoughts turned to the challenges that still lay ahead. They were drawing closer to their target, and soon they would face the ultimate test. But looking at the diverse crew working together in harmony, she felt a surge of hope. Whatever they were about to face, they would face it united. The intercom crackled to life, interrupting her thoughts. Captain Tanaka's voice rang out, tense but controlled. All senior staff to the bridge immediately. Long-range sensors have picked up something. We found it. Elena's heart raced as she hurried to the bridge. The moment they had spent years preparing for had finally arrived. As the doors slid open, she was met with a scene of controlled chaos. The view screen showed a distant object, a roiling mass of darkness that seemed to devour the very light around it. "Status report," she demanded, her voice steady despite the fear threatening to overwhelm her. Aiden looked up from his console, his face pale but determined. "It's like nothing we've ever seen, Ambassador. It's changing the fundamental laws of physics around it." As the Unity drew closer to the anomaly, Elena realized that all their preparations, all their theories, might not be enough. They were truly in uncharted territory now, facing a force that defied comprehension. But as she looked around at the determined faces of her human and alien colleagues, she felt a glimmer of hope. If any team could find a way to overcome this threat, it was this one. Together, they represented the best the galaxy had to offer: wisdom, courage, and the indomitable spirit of discovery. "All right, everyone," Elena said, her voice ringing with authority. "This is what we came for. Let's show the universe what we can do." As the Unity plunged toward the unknown, the greatest challenge in galactic history loomed before them. The next few hours would determine the fate of countless civilizations, and humanity, the youngest species in the Confederation, was about to play a pivotal role in shaping the future of the entire galaxy. Confronting the threat, the bridge of the Unity fell into an eerie silence as the crew stared at the view screen, transfixed by the nightmarish spectacle before them. The anomaly loomed large, a roiling mass of darkness that seemed to consume everything around it. Tendrils of void reached out, grasping at nearby stars and pulling them into its unfathomable maw. Ambassador Elena Rodriguez felt a chill run down her spine. All their preparations, all their theories, seemed woefully inadequate in the face of this cosmic horror. But there was no turning back now. The fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. "Analysis," she demanded, her voice cutting through the tension on the bridge. Dr. Aiden Chen's fingers flew over his console, his face illuminated by the glow of rapidly scrolling data. It's like nothing we've ever encountered. The anomaly is warping space-time itself. Our sensors can barely make sense of the readings." Zixtel's fur had turned a deep, troubled purple. "It's worse than we feared. At its current rate of expansion, it will reach the core worlds of the Confederation within months, not years." Captain Yuki Tanaka's voice was steel as she issued orders. "Maintain our distance. Shields at maximum. Launch probes for close-range telemetry." As the crew sprang into action, Elena felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her. They had come all this way, but now what? How could they possibly hope to stop something that defied the very laws of physics? Suddenly, Gruck's gravelly voice cut through the chaos. "Look! Pattern in chaos." All eyes turned to the Palaxian engineer. His crystalline eyes gleamed as he manipulated a holographic display, highlighting subtle fluctuations in the anomaly's energy signature. Dr. Zara Vex leaned in, her scaled brow furrowed in concentration. "By the cosmic egg, he's right. There's a rhythm to it, almost like a heartbeat." Aiden finished, his eyes wide with realization. "It's alive." The revelation sent shockwaves through the bridge. If the anomaly was a living entity, It changed everything. But it also raised a host of new questions. How do you communicate with something so utterly alien? How do you reason with a being that consumes entire star systems? Elena's mind raced. This was the moment where humanity's unique perspective could make all the difference. If it's alive, then maybe we can communicate with it, she said, her voice growing stronger with conviction. We need to try to establish contact. The alien members of the crew looked at her with a mix of skepticism and hope. Zixtal's fur rippled with uncertainty. But how? Our most advanced communication systems are useless against it. A smile tugged at Elena's lips. We think outside the box. Dr. Chen, remember your chaos theory models. What if we use them to predict the anomaly's pulses and synchronize a signal with its heartbeat? Aiden's eyes lit up with excitement. Brilliant. We could modulate tachyon bursts to match its frequency. But we'd need to get closer, much closer. Captain Tanaka shook her head. Too dangerous. Our shields won't hold at that range. Then we build better shields, Elena insisted. She turned to the engineering team. Grok, Dr. Vex, can you combine your species' shielding technologies? Create something new. The Palaxian and Syrian exchanged glances, then nodded enthusiastically. Hybrid approach. Adaptive resonance. Could work, Grok rumbled. We'll need to reconfigure the entire power grid, Dr. Vex added, her scales shimmering with excitement. But yes, it's possible. Elena felt a surge of hope. This was humanity's greatest strength in action. The ability to inspire, to bring diverse minds together, and push beyond perceived limitations. All right, people, we have a plan. Let's make it happen. The next few hours were a blur of feverish activity. The Unity systems were pushed to their limits as the crew worked to implement their daring strategy. Humans and aliens worked side by side, their differences forgotten in the face of their shared goal. As the final preparations were made, Elena stood at the center of the bridge, her heart pounding. This was it. Everything rode on what happened next. Hybrid shields activated. Grok reported, his rocky fingers dancing over the controls. Tachyon burst generator online. Aiden called out, ready to transmit on your mark. Captain Tanaka's voice was grim as she gave the order. Take us in. Nice and easy. The Unity edged closer to the anomaly, its new shields shimmering with an otherworldly light. On the view screen, the darkness loomed ever larger, threatening to engulf them. Initiating transmission, Aiden announced, his voice tense. A beam of coherent tachyons lanced out from the Unity, pulsing in perfect synchronization with the anomaly's rhythm. For a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then, suddenly, the anomaly's movements changed. Its tendrils of darkness began to coalesce, forming into a more defined shape. By the eternal void, Zixtal whispered, its fur a kaleidoscope of amazed colors. It's responding. Before their eyes, the anomaly transformed. The shapeless mass of darkness condensed into a form that defied easy description. Part cosmic storm, part living geometry. Patterns of light and energy danced across its surface in complex, ever-changing fractals. We're receiving a signal, Aiden shouted, his fingers flying over his console. It's incredible. The amount of data is off the charts. As the bridge crew worked to decipher the alien transmission, Elena felt a strange sensation wash over her. It was as if something vast and ancient was reaching out, touching her mind directly. Images and concepts flooded her consciousness, too fast and too alien to fully comprehend. She gasped, staggering under the mental onslaught. Around her, she saw other crew members reacting similarly, their faces a mix of awe and confusion. It's communicating, Elena managed to say, her voice strained, not just with words, but with pure thought and emotion. Gradually, a picture began to emerge. The entity, for it was indeed a living being of unimaginable age and power, was not malevolent. It was curious, exploring the galaxy much as they were, but its very nature caused destruction in its wake, a fact it had only recently become aware of. As the communication deepened, Alina felt a profound sense of connection with the cosmic entity. She saw the history of the universe unfold, witnessed the birth and death of countless galaxies, and she understood that this being, for all its power, was lonely. It had never before encountered other sentient life that could perceive it, let alone communicate with it. With this understanding came an opportunity. Alina reached out mentally, conveying images of the diverse species of the Confederation, of worlds teeming with life and culture. She showed the entity the beauty and value of the civilizations it had unknowingly threatened. The response was immediate and overwhelming. The entity recoiled, its form rippling with what Alina could only interpret as shock and remorse. It had never meant to cause harm, had never even considered that its explorations might be destroying other forms of life. As the mental exchange continued, a plan began to form. The entity, with its mastery over space-time, could help the Confederation in ways they had never imagined. And in return, they could offer it something it had never had before: companionship, the chance to learn and grow alongside other sentient beings. Slowly, carefully, the Unity's crew began the delicate process of negotiating with the cosmic entity. It was a negotiation unlike any in galactic history, conducted not just with words and logic, but with emotions, images, and abstract concepts. Hours passed, but on the bridge of the Unity, no one noticed the passage of time. They were too engrossed in the monumental exchange taking place, too aware of the historic nature of this first contact. Finally, as exhaustion began to set in, Alina felt the entity withdraw from her mind. She blinked, coming back to herself, and looked around the bridge. The faces of her crew, human and alien alike, showed a mix of fatigue and wonder. Did we do it?" Captain Tanaka asked, her usual composure shaken. Alina nodded, a tired smile spreading across her face. "We did. It's agreed to stop its expansion and work with us. More than that, it wants to help us to atone for the damage it caused." A cheer went up from the crew, a release of tension that had been building for years. Zixtal approached Alina, its fur a bright, joyous yellow. "Ambassador, I don't know what to say. Your species has achieved the impossible. You've saved us all." Alina shook her head. "We all did this together. Humans, Confederation species, and now our new ally. This is just the beginning." As the Unity prepared to return home, bearing news that would change the course of galactic history, Alina couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. Humanity, the youngest species in the Confederation, had proven its worth beyond any doubt. They had faced the unknown with courage and creativity, and in doing so, had opened up possibilities beyond imagination. The journey back to Earth would be long, but Alina knew it was just the start of an even greater adventure. The galaxy was vast and full of wonders, and humanity was ready to take its place among the stars. Aftermath and new understanding. The return journey of the Unity was markedly different from its outbound mission. Where before there had been tension and uncertainty, now there was a palpable sense of accomplishment and wonder. The ship's corridors buzzed with excited discussions as crew members, both human and alien, tried to process the monumental events they had just experienced. Ambassador Elena Rodriguez stood in the observation lounge, gazing out at the star-streaked vista of trans-light space. The entity they had encountered, which the crew had taken to calling the Cosmic Weaver, traveled alongside them, its vast form now a shimmering tapestry of light and dark that stretched across the cosmos. "Still hard to believe, isn't it?" Dr. Aiden Chen's voice broke through her reverie as he joined her at the viewport. Alina nodded, a smile playing on her lips. "That we communicated with a being older than our galaxy. That we not only stopped a threat to all life, but potentially unlocked the secrets of the universe. Yes, it's a lot to take in." Aiden chuckled, shaking his head in amazement. "When I joined this mission, I thought we'd be lucky to survive, let alone this." He gestured towards the Cosmic Weaver. Do you think we're ready for what comes next? It was a question that had been weighing on Alina's mind. The Cosmic Weaver had shared glimpses of knowledge and technology far beyond anything the Confederation had ever dreamed of. The potential for advancement was staggering, but so were the risks. Ready or not, it's coming, Alina replied. Our job now is to make sure we handle it responsibly. As if on cue, Zixtal entered the lounge, its fur a swirl of thoughtful blues and greens. Ambassador, Dr. Chen, the Confederation Council is requesting an update. They're anxious about our new traveling companion. Alina couldn't blame them. The last time the Council had heard from the Unity, they were heading off to confront an existential threat. Now they were returning with that same entity in tow, claiming it was an ally. Let's give them the good news, shall we? Alina said, straightening her uniform. The holographic conference that followed was unlike any in galactic history. Representatives from every Confederation species listened in awe as Alina and her team recounted their encounter with the Cosmic Weaver. There were moments of fear and disbelief, but as the implications of this new alliance became clear, a sense of excitement began to build. The Cosmic Weaver has expressed a desire to make amends, Alina explained. It's offering to share its knowledge with us, to help us advance in ways we can scarcely imagine. But can we trust it? The Arcturian representative asked, its crystalline form shimmering with concern. How can we be sure it won't turn on us? It was Grok who answered, his gravelly voice filled with conviction. Trust built on understanding. We learn from Weaver. Weaver learns from us. Mutual growth. Dr. Zara Vex chimed in, her scales glittering with excitement. The scientific possibilities alone are staggering. The Weaver's understanding of space-time could revolutionize our technology, our medicine, our very way of life. As the discussion continued, it became clear that the galaxy was on the cusp of a new era. The Confederation, which had existed in a state of relative stability for millennia, was about to undergo a period of rapid advancement and change. There will be challenges, Alina admitted. We'll need to find ways to integrate this new knowledge without destabilizing our societies. But I believe that together, we can navigate this new frontier. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind of activity. As news of the Unity's success spread, the crew found themselves hailed as heroes across the galaxy. The sight of the Cosmic Weaver, now visible to all as it hovered near Earth, became a symbol of a new age of discovery and cooperation. But amidst the celebrations, Alina and her team worked tirelessly to lay the groundwork for what was to come. They established protocols for communication with the Cosmic Weaver, created task forces to study and implement its shared knowledge, and drafted new laws and ethical guidelines to govern the use of advanced technology. One morning, as Alina was preparing for yet another round of meetings, she received an unexpected visitor. It was the Zorblaxian representative, the same one who had initially doubted humanity's ability to contribute to the mission. Ambassador Rodriguez, the gelatinous being pulsed, its colors a mix of respect and contrition. I owe you and your species an apology. We underestimated you, thought your short lifespans and rapid development were weaknesses. We were wrong. Alina smiled, touched by the gesture. There's no need to apologize. We all had a lot to learn about each other. And we still do. The Zorblaxian's colors shifted to a warm, appreciative hue. Indeed, your species' ability to adapt, to think creatively in the face of the unknown. It's exactly what the galaxy needed, what we all needed. As the Zorblaxian left, Alina felt a sense of pride wash over her. Humanity had proven itself not just to the Confederation, but to the cosmos itself. They had faced the unknown with courage and ingenuity, and in doing so, had changed the course of galactic history. Months passed, and the changes brought by the alliance with the Cosmic Weaver began to take shape. Faster than light travel became more efficient, allowing for easier exploration of the galaxy. Medical breakthroughs extended lifespans and cured diseases once thought incurable. New forms of energy production eliminated scarcity on countless worlds. But perhaps the most profound change was in how the various species of the Confederation viewed each other and themselves. The encounter with the Cosmic Weaver had shown them that there was still so much to learn, so much to discover. It had humbled them, but also inspired them to reach for the stars with renewed vigor. 1 year to the day after the Unity's return, a grand ceremony was held to commemorate the event. Representatives from every Confederation world gathered on Earth, along with a manifestation of the Cosmic Weaver itself. As Elena stood on the stage, preparing to address the assembled dignitaries and the trillions watching across the galaxy, she couldn't help but marvel at how far they had come. She thought back to that first meeting with Zixtal, when the revelation of humanity's youth had seemed like such a potential obstacle. "Distinguished guests, fellow sentients," she began, her voice carrying across the hushed crowd. "A year ago, we stood on the brink of annihilation. Today, we stand at the dawn of a new age. We have seen the face of the cosmos, and it has seen us. And in that moment of connection, we discovered a fundamental truth." She paused, looking out at the sea of faces, human, alien, and the shimmering presence of the Cosmic Weaver. "It's not the length of our lives that defines us, but what we do with the time we have. Humanity may be young in cosmic terms, but we have shown that youth brings with it energy, creativity, and the courage to challenge the impossible. And our elder species have shown us the value of patience, of deep wisdom accumulated over eons." The Cosmic Weaver pulsed with agreement, sending waves of warmth and understanding through the gathered crowd. "Together," Elena continued, her voice rising with passion, "we have proven that diversity is our greatest strength, that when we combine our unique perspectives, there is no challenge we cannot overcome, no frontier we cannot explore." As Elena's speech concluded, a thunderous applause swept through the assembly. Humans embraced their alien counterparts, long-standing cultural barriers crumbling in the face of shared achievement and hope for the future. In that moment, as she looked out at the celebration, Elena realized that the question of how old humans were had become irrelevant. In cosmic terms, all of them, from the shortest-lived species to the most ancient, were but children, taking their first steps into a universe of endless possibility. The Cosmic Weaver shimmered, its vast consciousness reaching out to touch the minds of all present. In that touch was a promise of adventures yet to come, of wonders yet to be discovered, and of a future brighter than any had dared to imagine. As the celebration continued long into the night, the stars seemed to shine a little brighter. The galaxy was entering a new chapter, and humanity, once considered too young and too brash, had played a pivotal role in writing its opening lines. The question was no longer, how old are humans? But rather, what will they, and all sentient life, become? And the answer to that question was limited only by the bounds of imagination itself.